Hey guys, it's me, Darcy, joined today by Kris.
Yes, it is I.
It is him. For the still unnamed podcast that remains unnamed.
Well, I'm convinced will never be named.
Kris, coming up with names for things is hard. You've got to think of a name, then you've got to come up with a name, then you've got to give things a name.
That's true.
It might happen one day. Maybe. I'm very lazy. Anyway, you join us today. We are actually discussing, I was literally just playing Overwatch, so we were literally discussing games.
Yes.
Much like we often do. We often also anime and Dragon Ball. We were doing that earlier as well.
Yes.
But, well, I thought we'd share some of that conversation with you. So, my point that I was making about Overwatch, and pretty much every game, like Destiny's terrible for it as well, is that these games ask you to take on a role. Be it damage dealer.
It's pretty
tank,
much damage dealer, healer,
support.
tank, and most games fuck it up.
Most games fuck it up because they don't understand. And it's like, the thing is, like, as a player, and this has happened to me when Destiny first came out, as a player, I chose to be a Titan, knowing that what the Titan's role was.
Well, yes.
I wasn't going to go in and, like, boom, kill everyone.
And I chose the hunter.
I
It's
wasn't
a quick in and out and deal damage.
I wasn't going to boost my team. My role was literally to
You're effectively a support character.
be the one that takes the aggro, runs out the front, takes the aggro, has the health. And this is where Destiny fucked up even more than most games that do it.
Yes.
The support character, the Warlock, did not actually have anything that supported the tank and actually made it so the tank could stay out and be a tank. Like what was their ultimate? They could heal themselves, and it's like...
Well, they have something now. Well, actually, no, is that theirs? You can put down like a healing well, but it doesn't last long. But
Okay, so but that is something that they should have had originally. But the thing was, like, we always used to joke because it was like, oh, so what can our healer do? Oh, our healer can heal themselves.
Yeah.
The rest of the team is fucked. And it's like, and like Destiny's thing was like, oh, but you get health from when you kill enemies. And it's like, but the thing was, and we found this out really quickly when we were playing Destiny, by the time we started leveling up, everyone's health was about the same.
Yes.
And so the tank, the tankiness of the tank was gone. Because you had the same health as the wizard and the hunter. But then you didn't have any of the advantages because your weapons and stuff, the hunter still had better weapons. The fucking warlock had better killing ability than
the hunter.
Well, not the hunter, but the Titan.
Than everyone, basically.
In general, and it was like...
Because the hunter's supposed to have certain...
It was like,
hunter's supposed to
Destiny,
Destiny,
you've made a game, you've quite literally made a game where you're supposed to play as roles, but then you've gone, oh, but people might not like being a role, so let's make them all the same.
Let's make it look like a role, and then...
And like, for anyone who goes like, oh, but the Titan could throw down shields and stuff, it's like, yeah, but they were kind of useless. They really were.
I mean, they did end up outing like a bubble that was a shield, but it was like still like thing of like, yeah, you can't move around.
Yeah.
But that's the thing, it's like, even as a hunter that's supposed to be moving around constantly, getting around quick, dealing damage while moving around, had to stay in a bubble.
Yeah. And it's kind of just like, like the whole thing is, the tank's role was, like, even in Destiny 2, when it was like, you throw down the half wall as one of your things, and it was like, okay, you've got a half wall, and it was like, you throw down a half wall, it's like...
You stand over the half wall. Which is where, hang on, let me get this correct. Most people aim at chest to head, and the half wall would only go from under the chest down.
Oh, see, again, like, my thing was, though, you throw down a half wall. It's like, if you're going to have a shield that only protects from one direction, have it so it's movable.
Yeah.
I hate to bring up, another example, but do a Reinhardt shield from Overwatch.
Literally, he walks around.
He has a shield that he can move around. That way, your tank actually becomes more useful, because there's nothing less useful than throwing down cover in a firefight and then realizing, oh, firefight's over. Oh, my cover's useless.
Oh, it's gone. Oh no.
Like, it's like, I've thrown down cover. Guys, I'm coming. I'm throwing down cover, and oh, that was the last enemy? Sweet.
Someone help pick this up, please?
I just can't even pick it up. It's now we're on a cooldown, and it's like, what is the point of that? Whereas if you could charge in with the thing and actually draw the aggro, because that's what a tank's job is, to draw the aggro.
And even like a thing with the Warlock could have been like having an ability that can lower the cooldown times.
Yeah.
It's like, it's literally just like, oh, everyone's cooldown time? We're refreshed, off you go.
But like, I just go like, so for me, personally, and I know other people, some of our friends actually feel very different about it, I really don't like Destiny. Because what it could have been versus what it actually ended up being were... Yeah. And the fact that it's like, you know, in the end it all came down to the different types of guns. And like, okay, in a way that's good, but in a way that's also bad, because it's like, the hunter can use this gun.
Yes.
So can everyone else. It's a high damage gun. It's like, okay, what about this type of gun? Oh no, everyone can use that. The sword? Oh, everyone can use that. And it's like, so there's no class weapons that fit in with that, how that class should be played.
No, it's just armor, and even then the armor doesn't.
And the armor doesn't
make sense. The look,
but the armor stats are just
like
the
with
same.
With a Titan, the armor stats should be a shit ton higher on defensive property. So even though if the health's the same, their armor is more of a bullet sponge. So they take less damage with it.
Well, I just, you know, and I look at that and I go like, and I do get where the issue is. The issue is that doesn't work so well in PvP.
No, and I
honestly, you want PvP to be level.
And when I did play Destiny a bit with everyone else, I was like, I hated PvP. I still do, but it's like, hey,
just like you can't have a game. You can't have a game where PvP is balanced, and then use it without doing any changes. You can then play the roles that you're supposed to have. Yeah. So I guess what I'm saying is that really what should happen for PvP is like, oh, all your armor boosts gone, all the weapon damage gone. Yeah. This type of gun does this damage.
Yes.
Full stop.
Yeah.
And that's it. And it's like, oh, but my armor gives me X protection. It's like, yeah, no, it doesn't. Not in PvP. In PvP, it's just a skin.
Yeah.
Everyone is the same. And that could have worked, and then you could have had your actual proper role playing for things like
actually getting in a group and doing a raid.
That's what they call raids. Yeah. Like you could have had that, and then it would make sense. The tanks go out and take the aggro from and be your bullet sponges, and the warlocks heal and the hunters do the DPS. But the thing was, I feel. And this is one of the reasons why I'm not fussed with Destiny, because I'm like, there are better shooters. There are better shooters.
Yeah, there are. Well, one thing I don't like about Destiny as well is literally just the fucking grind. It's like, it's a small grind to start with, and then you hit the level cap, and it's like, but we can go up to here. But good luck getting anything. You've got to do the weeklies to be able to get the higher gear, and even then, it might not even drop what you need.
All MMOs have a grind. They need it.
Oh, I know they need a grind, but
because you can't keep players without it. But the thing is, like,
it got ridiculous. My
thing is, and this again comes from Jordan, who obviously played a lot of Destiny, but it do like so much grinding to get a weapon that was worse than the stuff he was already using.
Well, that was good for about 2 weeks after they got it.
Well, not even that, because I remember we did all that grinding to get the hand cannon.
Oh, yeah.
And it was like, no, it's a skin, the hand cannon, it's like the main robot guy who died, that was Nathan Fillion.
Yes.
And it was like, and I was like, oh, so you're going to use it when you got it? No, it's worse than everything I've got. And I was like...
He was doing it to collect it.
And I'm like, that's okay. Like, I accept the grind when the grind gets you better equipment, better stuff.
See, I can't accept Destiny's because of how it was. It was like, you can't even play every day to get a way to get it, because you have to do the weekly stuff to be able to get the higher level gear. Then the next day, it's like, you can play, but you can't really get anything higher.
Let me say, because this was one of my massive issues with Destiny, and they never fixed it with Destiny 2, and it grinds my gears so much. Exotic gear. The best gear you can have. Oh, you can only equip one piece of it.
One piece of armor, one weapon. So, no.
And it's like,
then what was the point of me grinding?
Are you joking? It is the best stuff. Let me outfit my entire character in it. That is how MMOs work. That is why we grind for the best stuff. There is no point me having an exotic helmet, grinding for an exotic chest piece, and then being like, okay, you gotta choose between the two, and me going like, well, the helmet gives me the buffs I want, but this one also gives me buffs I want. Which one am I going to have? Why was that a thing? Why wouldn't they just let you fully equip yourself with exotic gear once you got it?
Yeah,
it's
pretty straightforward.
It's what every other game that has let you do. Yeah, like,
oh yeah, they made some huge mistakes with it, and like I said, the grind. Yeah, I can understand the grind, and I accept the grind, and I will do we'll grind it again. But that was too much. Of like, hey, you're grinding for this piece of gear. It might drop, it might not. You might have to try this every day for the next 3 months. So no,
okay, so
stop that.
As more of a computer gamer myself, I have played a lot of games that are like that, where it's like, there's a percentage for the drop, and you go, okay, whatever, rightio. My issue was
that percentage never changed.
No, that wasn't even my issue. My issue was you would grind for an exotic piece of equipment.
Yes.
Once you've got it, you then had to go, oh, I've got this exotic sword now. Let's use that for an example. I don't know if that's actually how it works, so please don't come at me for that. But let's say you grind for an exotic sword. But you're already using an exotic weapon. So now you have to choose. Do you take the thing that you literally spent hours of your life grinding for, or the thing that you've been using that you're really good with? And it's like, what? And I just could never get it through my head. Bungie, why are you doing this? Why can I not equip every slot with an exotic and literally become great?
Yes.
Why are you putting this unnecessary limit? Because every other MMO, when you get that exotic or best gear,
you put it on.
You put it on everything. And it's like, they don't go, oh, hang on, no. Yes, you got this whole set of exotic armor or rare armor or legendary armor or whatever the game calls it, but you have to choose one of those pieces to put on. The rest has to be normal. It's like, it's a set of armor, Destiny. Literally a set of armor. Why can I not wear the whole thing? Oh, that would make you too cool. Does my head in. It does my head in. Yeah. But anyway, you were talking about Overwatch, as that's kind of where this conversation started. And Chris was telling me that apparently they've done some tweaking that has been poorly received. Let's say poorly received. And I can understand it. As I said, I never played the original Overwatch. I've started playing the second one because it was given to me for free.
Yes, yeah.
From the lovely people over at Xbox who gave it to everyone for free.
No, it's free on everything.
Well, it's free. Well, no.
It's free on PlayStation.
Is it free on PlayStation if you already own the game? If you already own Overwatch 1?
Oh, that's a good point. I don't know on that one, because I do own Origins.
Remember, and I don't, like, as I said, I can't make this statement, but I know it's free on Xbox, and the reason that I'm guessing it's free on Xbox is because they're now an Xbox studio.
True.
So, your game goes on Game Pass, whether you like it or not.
Yeah, that makes sense.
But yeah, no, so basically, I never played the original Overwatch. I wasn't fussed by it. I had a game very similar that I preferred, which was Rainbow Six Siege. It was a 6 PvP game in a small arena. Rainbow Six was a 5 PvP game in a small arena. Overwatch 2 is now a small 5 PvP in a small arena type thing. And honestly, I just prefer. I really do just prefer Siege. That being said, I do play Overwatch 2 now that I have it for free because I do think it's fun. For me, it's more of a wind down. Kind of like I jump in, I play a few games. There's no stress in it. Whereas for Siege, I'm a little bit more serious because I want to perform better. I don't really have that with Overwatch 2 because, as I said to Chris a few times, I wouldn't mind getting a group of guys together, especially considering it's free, and like having a go and like trying to learn how to play it competitively because it is fun.
It is.
But for me, if you gave me the option, it's like you can only play one of these. What will it be? Siege. I'm taking Siege. I like it better. For me, that's it. But the thing with the difference in the two of them is that even though Siege does have character abilities and stuff, everyone's kind of considered the same. You know?
Correct, yes.
Headshot's going to kill every single person.
Yeah, it will.
Unless they've got like a shield up. But whereas in Overwatch, you've got your classes and your ranks. And yeah, as I said, I'm enjoying it, but I have seen a few problems, and you were talking about how those problems are being received.
Like I said, with the tanks, it's just they are bullet sponges, which is good. They have made them bullet sponges. They were to begin with. Now it's obviously higher because they've upped health for, I don't know if it's all of them, but I know Roadhog's health has definitely gone up. But just the situation that DPS has so much trouble taking them down. It's like get a Junkrat to deal with a Reinhardt, mainly to get rid of the shield, not to actually kill him. Everyone still needs to hit them. And like that still makes sense, and I've got I have a lot of issue with that, but it's the thing of like it honestly seems like the tank does more damage than a DPS character.
Yeah,
which, as we were saying with Destiny, shouldn't really be the case.
Yeah, and you know, it really should be like, as we've said a few times, you know, the way those roles work is like tank and support is everyone's nightmare. Whereas, like, if a tank is running solo and runs into a DPS, then the tank should really be on a back pedal.
Yes.
Because the DPS is designed to take them out.
Because that's the thing, like with Junkrat, I can throw a concussion line, launch him back, launch myself back. Because that's the thing, I've got to get away from them. Because just a Reinhardt hitting me with the hammer I'm almost dead with one hit. I'm like, well, okay, so I'm going to launch him away and keep hitting from a slightly further distance. Oh, but then again, he has that ability to fire things at me. Yeah. So I still get hit with it, and I'm like, cool, that's...
I guess it's a hard line to walk, because
it is.
Like, the whole thing is a tank is supposed to absorb the damage. Supposed to be a threat. Like, it has to stay as a threat, so you can't say like tanks can't do damage. They have to be able to do damage.
The threat really should be a tank walking in. So like, let's say a Reinhardt walking into a room with the entire team behind him with the shield up.
Exactly.
That's where it's like, oh shit, we're screwed. That makes sense.
Well, and that's kind of how it's supposed to work. And honestly, my opinion is that game developers and stuff are pulling away from that because they want people to still be competitive even if they don't want to use the tactics. But the problem is the roles only work because of the tactics. Like, what is the point of a support character if we're not using team tactics?
And I would say they've done some support in that game quite well. It was like Mercy. Oh yeah, you've got fuck all health, but can keep it team alive.
Well, as I said, I've been playing Mercy a lot, and her ability to revive people in the middle of a fight can be a very clutch movement, as well as pretty much refilling someone's health if they can get out of a fight for a couple of seconds, having them back at full. Her support ability is great, and I feel they've done that well with her. Other support characters, I think we've talked about the one that has the Reinhardt shield, and you're like, she's not a support character. She's a tank.
She is, and it's not a tank, not as good as Reinhardt because it's a small shield that can only cover herself. And I'm like, yep, that makes sense. But she also does a lot of damage. Then you've got Moira.
Yep.
It's like, holy shit, a support character should not be able to do that fucking much damage.
No.
That is ridiculous.
Not only that, but she heals herself while she's doing the damage. And it's like, okay, that's support, but the amount of damage that's being done is far too much. Like, heal yourself while doing damage, but that damage is like single ticks.
Yeah, that would make more sense. But to be like, hey, Moira just joined it. Oh, Moira's killed 3 people in the span of 5 seconds. What?
Yeah.
No, that's not
but,
right.
But as I said, like, the thing is, like, that's, like, the thing, that with role-playing, and role-playing obviously being these 3 roles, not, like, an RPG role-playing.
Yeah.
But with role-playing, it's all about everyone knowing what their thing is. And I feel they've done it okay with the DPSs.
Yeah.
Because they are really supposed to be glass cannons. They do a lot of damage, but can't take a lot of hits.
Yes. And they've done that well.
With some characters. I think some characters are still a little bit too... I think Pharah's a little bit too tanky, still.
No, I agree, she's a tank. She's not DPS. Like, she does...
But she does too much damage for a tank.
See, it's one of those weird things that she kind of fits in both, because she does... Because of what her suit allows her to do, it's DPS. But because also of the suit and the fact she's not a glass cannon. No way, shape, or form.
I would take her and actually move her to the tank, and then leave the missile damage the same, and just reduce the speed that they travel, so it becomes harder to hit. So you're not doing full damage; you're mainly doing splash damage.
Yeah, I can
because it's like they're on the outskirts of the hits, but if you get full hits, they do damage.
And even then, she doesn't even take damage because she just flies around, and there's only you can hit her with any character, but there's specific characters that are better suited to hit her.
Well, my thing is
Soldier and that.
I feel that she doesn't really fit into that DPS. But the whole thing with this is that when everyone's playing their role, you kind of become unstoppable. But when you're alone, you're easy to gank. That's the term.
That's why the advantage to Roadhog is when you're getting into group now or grouped up. Hook, I've got one here. Everyone aim at them. No matter what they are. It doesn't matter what.
And that's exactly what Roadhog's kind of role was when they first envisioned him. I can imagine his job was to pull the support player out, because if you can if you isolate their support player from the tank, then you kill the support player. Then their team is kind of on their own.
See, and Roadhog was also made to be he was also made to be a solo tank, because it is that thing of he grabs his thing and it's like, oh shit, he's now exceeded his max health because he's just healed himself. So he can be on the brink of death.
Can I say that is an issue though?
I do agree.
There should not be such a thing as a solo tank or a roaming tank, or so the way I see it is a tank should always.
I think it used to be
this is very old school. This is very old school team tactics, which is tank should always have a support attached to them. Pretty much that's your go. Tank has a support. Your DPSs are actually your roamers, because they can get out and they can go and do the thing. And I will say, with Overwatch 2, the fact that it's one tank, the setup is generally, or I think the setup they prefer is one tank, 2 damages, 2 support.
Yeah, it's what
that's kind of
aim for.
And that's kind of a support attaches to your tank, and then you've got a free support to kind of rotate between your DPSs. But the thing is, while a DPS can be a roamer, not all of them are. A lot of them actually have to stay with the team, and that kind of works. But sometimes I feel that the tanks do too much damage.
Yes. No, I agree. It's
when really what their role is to absorb the damage and protect the rest of the team. And I get that, as I said, I enjoy playing Mercy.
Yes.
And literally as Mercy, I can play entire games, right? I don't get a kill because I never pull out my gun. I'm too busy supporting my team.
Yeah.
And it's like, I have fun doing that. And I get that some people don't. They're like, oh, but I didn't get any kills. And it's like, well, then you're playing the wrong class.
Yes.
And it's like,
Don't
and
play a support character.
that should be really the thing. You're a tank. Your job is to absorb damage and mitigate damage and do all that kind of stuff, not dole out the kills. Your job is really to be a nuisance. Someone that they have to deal with, but not someone that they have to deal with because they're killing our team, so everyone get over there and kill them, but someone they have to deal with because while they're there, we can't, we're having issues taking out their support players. Their damage dealers are hitting us from the sides, and when we go to focus on them, we're starting to take nuisance damage. That adds up and kills us, but, and it's like, I just feel sometimes that, especially in Overwatch, there is a lot of tanks out there who are just, like, one-hit kills on pit characters, and you're like, a tank should not have a one-hit kill. That's a DPS thing.
No, it's like, Roadhog on a technicality is 2 because the hook is a hit, but it's like, that's still hook, hit, and an entire team can be aiming at Roadhog, and he's still not dead. He still has time to kill them after the hook, and then heal himself. And I've come up against Roadhog so many times with Junkrat, and just been like, one more bomb's going to kill him. Heal, full health, extra health. I'm like, so everything I just did was a waste of fucking time, and I may as well, as a DPS, don't even go near a tank because it's pointless.
And that's the problem, I feel, just because I go like, the thing is, that Roadhog ability is really designed to, it shouldn't be, it's designed so Roadhog gets the kill. Like, it shouldn't be designed so it's an instant kill for Roadhog. It's designed to pull a player out of your defensive line, pretty much, have your team kill them as a group, and then be like, you're now a man down. We have the advantage. Especially if you use it on their support character.
The only time I really saw Roadhog is getting the kill, or should have been getting that kill immediately. So in that map, it's got the hole in the... Hey, I'm standing against the edge, bang, go.
Like, if he were to use it, if he was to rip out someone who was getting healed, I would accept it. But, like, to grab a full health player and then instant kill, it's kind of like, that shouldn't be happening.
Don't get me wrong, you can only do that with DPS, but it's like, the insta kill...
No, you can do it on support too.
That's right, yes.
Support and DPS. And it's kind of like, the only thing that doesn't insta kill is a tank. And it's like, that's too powerful.
Yeah, the only way it doesn't actually insta kill
and the
DPS
fact that
is if, say, Mercy was already healing them, and they've been ripped out of the heal. So they've already been healed from the hook, so the gun doesn't have enough damage to take them out. Without that healing initially, it's an insta kill.
As I haven't played Roadhog, so I can't make a statement on it, but I just feel it's too much damage.
Yeah. So I can accept environmental kills, like I said, the one with the hole, hook, you've bounced off of me and fallen into the hole.
But what I was going to say is I don't know how long that hook is on reset for. Because
I don't remember.
Like,
again, I haven't played it in years, so I don't
But
know.
I was going to say, like, it's not his ultimate ability.
No.
So it's something that he can use multiple times.
Yes.
And it's like, it's too powerful for that.
Yes.
It's too powerful. And basically, it's not a tank move. It's really not. It's not a tank move to pull someone out of the line. That's more of a DPS move. But I can understand it giving it to a tank, but then to have it pretty much being insta-kill is kind of like, are you joking? Like I said, there's a few...
Don't get me wrong. You still have to hit with the gun, because some people do miss with the gun.
That's almost...
It's very good. I've seen
anyone miss with a gun.
I've seen it happen.
Because it's like literally the second they land in front of you, you pull it and it's like...
To be honest, I think they've made it easier. Because... And that's also the problem with a lot of games now, is a lot of the developers, because they want to keep people playing, if enough of the community complains, it's like, okay, we're going to make that change you wanted. Then they'll start, the other half of the community makes the complaint of like, you've just made them too powerful. It's like, okay, so we're going to nerf them and up these guys. It's like, no, don't up them. You just bring in, you put out a game where it's the correct roles and everything like that, and no matter how much anyone complains, either. Like, there is minor things that it's like you look at and it's like, oh, actually, no, that was a bad idea to put that in.
That was a mistake.
Yes, 100% fix those, but to be like, have the community is like, oh, the tanks aren't doing enough damage, they've got to up the damage. We're going to up the damage, but now they overdo it.
Yeah.
And then now they're complaining, oh, this person doesn't have enough health. It's like, okay, well, up their health too. It's like, oh, well, now the tank's not doing enough damage again. I'm like, because you're trying to fight against, like, and go, we're trying to please everyone.
Please everyone mentality, and you can't. And it's like, and that's what I mean, like,
that's why there's so
if you want to be a tank, you kind of have to accept you're not going to do damage. And as a game developer, you kind of have to go, like, if someone's like, well, I play D.Va and she can't solo kill another tank. I was like, she's not supposed to. No. That's not what her job is. And it's like, no, but I want to be able to do that. And it's like, right, well, then maybe you're playing the wrong character. If you want to be able to solo kill something, maybe you need to start playing DPS. But they don't have enough health. Okay, well then maybe you need to become better at the game. Maybe you need to understand what this game is, because this game is not Call of Duty. It's not grab a gun, go shoot someone, hide behind a box for healing. It's supposed to be a game based on the roles.
Yeah.
Although in saying that, I will say, as I said, I never played the original Overwatch 1, but just by playing Overwatch 2, I have noticed that Blizzard have done the classic mistake.
Yes.
And have brought in new characters later down the track that kind of make older characters' powers obsolete in a way. Like, I still see a lot of Reinhardt's, but that Sigma dude, I think he's actually...
Sigma is ridiculous.
I think he's actually better than Reinhardt, because he can throw a shield anywhere. Like, if he's all the way back and he's running up and he sees that his team are getting swamped, he can throw a shield out in front of him, whereas Reinhardt literally has to get there to be able to do that.
Yeah.
And then he can...
But that's where his charge helps at, getting to the location.
But here is the issue.
Yeah. But
here is my issue with that. Like, I go, okay, so Reinhardt has the charge, so he can get there. But then if Reinhardt rotates to do something else, that shielding is gone, whereas Sigma can fucking leave the shield there. So he can shield the main walkway where you've got your main... they're trying to push through, so you can keep your guys there, and he can swing around behind them and start taking out their support characters, and it's
once again,
that's incredibly powerful. And then
his actual damage output is again powerful, and it's like there's too much of that.
Yeah, and I just go, I feel like it's a trap that everyone with these class type games runs into, is that we've got to add new characters to keep the game interesting.
Just as I believe we've stated before, it's weird that Blizzard fell into it.
Yes, but there's a way of doing that without subtracting from the original characters.
Yeah.
I'll use Siege again as a good example. Whenever they add new characters and with new powers, sometimes look at powers and go, oh, this is sort of like this power, but it seems better. But the thing is, because all the people are technically on a level pegging, don't get me wrong, body armor plays a role in Siege, so it's like...
And it makes sense.
It's like, if your character's light, they wear less body armor, so therefore body kits will kill them quicker than someone who wears heavier body armor, but slower, louder.
Yeah.
But headshots are headshots. Like, that's the big thing with Siege. A headshot is a headshot.
And that's fair. It's like, you get killed, getting body shots, you're going to get killed quicker with the light armor than the dude who's walking around with a shield on his back and Juggernaut's armor. Like, you expect it.
Not like that, but yeah, I accept that, and it's like, there's, counters and stuff, so it's like, you play a light character, they have less armor, however, when they're running around, they make less noise, and they are actually faster, so they're better for roaming the map.
Yes.
Whereas heavier armor, slower, but also can take a few more hits. And when I say a few more, it's not ridiculous. It's not
it shouldn't
be.
That
guy's a heavy, so he can take an extra clip to the person who's running. No, it's not like that. But my point is, every time there's an upgrade, you go this is A good example is Castle, and I can't remember her name, but there's another one who Castle puts up the bulletproof shields on the doors and windows, so like you can't just shoot them out.
Yeah.
And she puts up laser ones, which are literally just designed to stop people coming through.
That makes sense, yeah.
And you could say like, oh, you know, they're similar, but it's personally, I feel that's because they realized Castle, and this is like my personal feeling on it. Castle has one mode in which he's useful, and that's hostage.
Yeah.
Because they can't just blow the room to pieces by using a fuse or someone, or like putting a small hole in and tossing grenades in. Any other game other than hostage, if you have a Castle on your team, he is going to fuck you over because he's going to put up his Castle things around the room you're supposed to defend and go like, ha ha ha, we're safe. They're going to either breach one of them and just like kill everyone in there, and then anyone who's outside of the room is going to have a hell of a time getting back in.
Yeah.
Or they are literally he's going to trap you in the room, and they are just going to pump that room full of explosives, and you are all going to die.
Yes.
And if you watch the recent siege I put out, you will see a Castle doing one of those situations where he literally locked us out of the room, and then to get back in, I literally had to break a door that he'd put down and let all the attackers know where I was, so I had no advantages. And
yeah.
So I've always felt that Castle is like is not a great character. If you're going to use a Castle in any other map, you've actually got to be smarter and not just put them on the room. You've actually got to put them in places where you want to funnel them through, so that you're like, if there's a room that leads to the room you're in that has lots of windows, you put them on those windows so they can't come through those windows and stuff like that. It's about being smarter than the situation and going like, instead of just putting them up on the room where you're in, using them outside of the room.
And most people don't think of that though, so it doesn't.
No, it's kind of like the difference between someone who knows how to play mute and someone who just plays mute is like
true.
But there's a lot of like little parts of the game that have changed as they've added more characters, but I don't feel that any one character has made another character on the same team obsolete.
Yeah, that's a bit ridiculous when that happens.
Because like the thing is, of course, Siege split into attackers and defenders. You don't want two defenders who pretty much have the same power that make each other obsolete. Or the new one makes the old one obsolete because they've got better weapons. And like an example of this is like Thorn and Capcan and Ella and Capcan. They both have similar powers. You know, they leave something on the wall that if someone tries to come through that radius, they get either hurt or disorientated. Yeah. But I've always felt, as playing those characters, it's actually more of a benefit to have them both on the same team because you can double whammy them.
True.
So it's like an Ella trap and then a Capcan trap, so they get disorientated by the Ella and then walk into the Capcan or the Frost or something. And it's like, you know, a lot of them play the same kind of... It feels like it's the same kind of game, but as they're all defenders, a lot of their abilities are area denial. You want to stop them from getting into those areas.
True.
So a lot of their abilities are based on stopping you getting into those areas. But I feel there's enough variety there that you can, like, as I said, you get I've come up against a few teams where a Capcan and a Frost, both area denial, both laying a damage-dealing device on a door or a window. Yeah, if you've got two people playing that, you don't go like, oh, don't worry about Capcan, Frost is there, or don't worry about Frost, Capcan's there. You actually start going, holy shit, I've got to watch out, because you're like checking the doors and you've got to check the floor, and it's like they complement each other more than subtract from each other.
True.
But I feel like in Overwatch, the Reinhardt Sigma tank situation is actually a subtraction from Reinhardt. Because why play Reinhardt if you've got Sigma? Like, unless you are a Reinhardt, like, old school player, you love him, he's your favourite character, I don't see a reason to take him over the guy that can do a lot of long distance damage, as well as
it's one of those things that you can also keep yourself away from a lot.
Yeah, whereas like Reinhardt's main attack is what? It's a hit. Like he actually has to hit you with his hammer.
But he also has the thing where he can send a shockwave to hit you.
But that's like his special, isn't it?
I think that one's the charge up one.
No, because you got like two.
No, actually, yeah, it is the special. Yeah. It's again been a long time since I played Reinhardt.
I don't know, but what I'm saying is like Sigma is like Reinhardt, except designed to be played at range, whereas Reinhardt's kind of has to be up in there. So it's kind of like, why would you play as Reinhardt, who has to put himself in danger's way to be a tank and to get the kills, when you could play this other guy who pretty much has the same power? He throws down a shield, but he never has to be close to the death. Like he can pull back and use his range, and it's like it just feels to me as it's a detraction from Reinhardt.
There are some flaws, that is for sure. Every game has its flaws. A game that I feel that did do rolls well. It's an old one. Haven't played it in years, but it's great. TF2.
Okay. I never played it.
TF2. Yeah, heavy could put out a lot of damage, but it was also because you generally had a medic-heavy combo. So the medic was following the heavy. Scout, yeah, he was all over the place. Hitting him was difficult to begin with. So there was more than just tank, medic, or support. And then DPS, it was like...
my phone. Actually, that's a good question. You keep talking. I'm going to have a quick look and see if I can...
Yeah. But yeah, no, they kept it like, so there's, each of them had their own roles as like demo. It was explosive specifically.
Yeah.
So it was easy enough there. You know, you had your sniper. So again, you half consider it a sniper support because he sort of stays off in the distance and picks off enemies. But it's like, his role as a sniper. That's what he does. Medic. You're literally out there for healing, and your super was... They'd consider Uber. Tank, or heavy, he took a lot of hits. He could put out a lot of damage. But, as I said, it's because he was walking around with a machine gun.
I might have left it in the car.
Yeah, but walked around with the chain gun, so it made it... You could put out a lot of bullets instead of anything else. So he never keeps track of his phone. Always all over the place. No, that's a lie. Sometimes it's just sitting on the desk. Assuming he's found it. Maybe. We'll find out. Still in the car?
Not in the car.
Not in the car.
I think I might be losing my mind.
You might be losing your mind.
Or I chucked it in my bag when I was getting out of the car.
But you just checked your bag.
No, I checked where I normally put it in my bag. I didn't check like where I might have just tossed it.
Fair.
Wait, that's the sunglasses. Should probably put them away.
It's probably a smart idea.
What is this? Oh, that's deodorant.
Yeah.
That is an old one.
It is.
Oh, where did I put my pen?
Take it upstairs.
Oh, I might have. You know what I'd be like.
I don't, because you only went upstairs to fill your water bottle.
No, there it is. It's in my bag.
There you go. In a weird spot.
Gotta put my glasses in my glasses case so they don't get damaged.
Oh,
I dropped them on concrete the other day. It was bad.
Oh, Jesus.
But yeah, no, I personally, I just sit there and I sometimes think like, if you, as a game developer, I understand that the end result is selling games, which is, you know, yep, okay, it's got to sell games. But sometimes I feel they make mistakes of, how do you say it? How would you go about it? They pervert what they wanted to make to the point where it no longer resembles
what they wanted to
their
make.
original idea. And it's like, and then the ideas that they have that they didn't change fall apart. Like, as I said, for me, Destiny fell apart because the second that I realised that the tank and...
Kind of like Anthem falling apart. That was a thing.
I think Anthem fell apart more or less because it sucked. But...
I mean, again, it had great concepts. Poor execution.
Yes, I would say poor execution was definitely a massive part of it. And maybe too ambitious, considering they had really not done anything like it in the past.
True.
You know what I feel could have fixed Anthem a lot? Two small changes.
Okay, yeah.
One, being able to solo play. Not always being on.
That was annoying, having to wait
literally, like, I I got it for free because I was never going to pay for it. Like, and when I say I got it for free, I got it for free, and this was after it was well and truly dead. So I knew it was dead.
No, people still play it.
Oh yes, but it's
Which
dead.
is weird.
It's the developers are giving up on it. It's dead.
Yeah.
So I went in and I gave it a go. The prologue, I went, okay, interesting. I know this is getting worse, so let's not get my hopes up. But I was like, this is okay.
Yeah.
Then the second you leave the city and it's like teaming you up, and it's like, oh, I don't want to be teamed up. I don't want to be teamed up.
Yeah.
I just want to go out and do my own thing.
Because
So,
if you go out and do your own thing, but someone else has got the thing of like, no, we could get the mission done because I've got to get the mission done. It's like
I
get stopped constantly.
I literally just wanted to go out and explore the world, maybe do some missions.
Because don't
But
worry,
it was like
initially, it looked good. It did look good.
so. Like I was
It's
just like
you didn't have a lot to explore because they also didn't put too
Much
much
in
into it.
that's an issue with developing a game as a service, though, because we'll add more later. You have to keep the players there to be able to add more later.
Yes.
If the players go away, where are you getting the money to add more later? What business is going to say, like, half your players are gone, yeah, here's more money to add more to the game to bring them back. No, you need to keep them there. And Anthem didn't have enough. They would kind of, I guess they were just kind of hoping that people would accept the fact that they're like, oh, we're going to add more, we promise, and continue playing the nothing that was there. Like,
Yeah, I'm
As I
surprised
said, I
that
never-
they've managed to do it with No Man's Sky. 'Cause they managed to bring people back.
No Man's Sky is a very different beast.
Oh,
No
I'm aware.
Man's Sky lost a lot because of over-promising, underperforming. But then that company did what a lot of companies wouldn't do. A lot of companies would go, yeah, okay, take the loss, cut it off, throw it away.
True.
What they did instead was the harder and more optimistic route of coming back and going, okay, let's get this to where we promised it. Let's actually work on it.
Yeah.
And the thing, and why I say optimistic, is because they had no idea of whether or not it would work. Like, seriously, they could have, and I'm happy that it never got to this point, but they could have put in all the work, all the effort, spent the more money, getting it to where the game was promised at release, only
And
to
then-
have no one come back.
Yeah.
So good on them for doing that, and on a hope and a prayer, and going, this is what we promised, this is what we want to get out, you know.
Yeah.
Let's do it. And then actually doing it with no guarantee of that comeback. But at the same time, you've got to... There's two things with it that were like... There was too much hype.
Oh, way too much. Way too
Like,
much.
if you actually looked at what...
What's the problem
if you-
these days?
If you actually looked at what the game... What they had produced in the past, maybe the hype wouldn't have been so much, and maybe a few more people would have gone, maybe we should temper our things on this, because this is something that A, they're not familiar with, B, even big companies struggle with this kind of thing.
Yeah.
And, you know, but everyone was just feeding on the hype because they were promising the world, and instead of anyone stopping and looking at it and going, well, hang on, this doesn't add up with what this company is,
Yeah.
maybe we should take a step back and look at it realistically. Everyone was just going, this is amazing. So
Yeah.
there was
true.
the overhyped, and I can't say for sure, but I feel that the company kind of started to feed on that hype, and like, so people were hyped about it, and they were like, yeah, and you know when you're just in a room and you're feeling like everyone's really excited about what you're saying, so then you just start going a little bit too much. Instead of saying what you should say, you start saying the things you want to be able to promise them, even if it's not true. So it's like, let's say we're selling a sneaker and we're like, this is the new sneaker, yeah, it's got a leather top, and everyone's like, yeah, it looks awesome, that's an awesome sneaker. And then you go, yeah, it's a really good sneaker, and it's gonna have jets in it, because you want it to have jets in it. You truly wish you could have jets in it,
Yeah.
and you want the people to be as excited as you are about the product.
True.
But then on realization, you go, oh shit, I shouldn't have said that. We haven't got this. We haven't got this yet. But now I've said it and everyone's expecting it.
Yeah.
So I feel that was a thing. But back to Anthem, because I only talked about the first point, which was I shouldn't have had to play online if I didn't want to.
Yes, I agree.
The second thing is they had a single mechanic in there that made it different from everything else that was given.
Yep.
Flying.
Yes.
Then what they did was take that mechanic and go, okay, so limit it severely.
Oh, so severely.
Absolutely take it out to the point where, and again, as I never got far enough into Anthem, I'm going on what other people have said, to the point where it might as well have just been a double jump.
No, I give it more than a double jump.
Okay.
I would. It's the thing of like, because the way they wanted you to use it is that you're flying, but you needed it to cool down as well. So you'd go up high, then you'd take a dive to cool it down so you could go back up high again, to dive down again, to go back up and dive down again. So you were sort of just constantly all over the place. If you were in an area where there was like waterfalls and like vents of air shooting up, it wasn't as bad because you could go through the vent of air, it'd cool you down. Go through the waterfall, it'd cool it down. And you could hold a line and keep it going. But if you were in the wrong area, well, guess what? It's the dip and dive. Or the dive and shoot up. That was its downfall. Yeah, so yeah, as I said, it's just, as like I said, because they had banked heavily on that flying mechanic. They were like... That was their biggest thing, especially at E3. Is like,
it's a flying game.
Fly around.
And the only reason I could think that they limited as severely as they did was the size of the world. It was too small for a flying.
Yeah, and I can understand, like, in a situation, even if the flying was very much like flying while shooting's not a great idea.
No.
Because it would be harder to control. 100% would be. So I can agree, landing is still better. But being able to fly to a new area and to just be like, land in the middle of, well, obviously not in the middle of a massive group of enemies, but let's say there's 3 enemies. Oh, it would be.
Like, land in there and, like, hit and run tactics. But, like, as I said, the only thing I can think of, because of how heavily they marketed it on the flying, is that when it came time to actually put the product out there, they went, if you can fly as unrestricted as we plan to have it, this game is a 5-minute game. Like, literally, you just jet around all over the place.
Don't get me wrong, it was already a 10-minute game.
Yeah, hyperbole.
Yes, yeah.
But, like, they're looking at it and going, like, oh man, if we don't put, like, caps on this, massive caps, yeah, no, it's going to be an issue. And
the issue is, like,
the problem is,
in 2 days.
the world was just, like, I feel, again, I literally, okay, let me quickly explain what happened. I left the city, I got put in a group, it was like, teaming you up, and I was like, I don't want to be teamed up, so I literally finished the loading screen, stepped out, looked at the world, saw that there were 2 other wankers with me, went, never again, and left the game and never went back to it.
Yeah.
But from that brief experience and the tutorial, I looked at a world that was designed to have you flying through it. It was a vertical world. There was detail on the tops of things to the bottom of things.
Yes.
And then they went, oh, it's too small, the flying makes it too short, limit it. And you can't do that. Let me just go grab something, because I want to show you something that I have, which is very old.
Okay.
But that did a better job, I think.
Okay. Interesting.
Okay, Chris. I want you to read out the still sealed case that I've just handed to you.
Oh, the still sealed case of Iron Man.
Yep. Yeah. That was a game where you had free flight around the missions. Now, that is an Xbox 360 game from... Does it have a date? Probably about the same time Iron Man movie
down there somewhere.
Probably about the same time that the Iron Man movie came out.
Would have been.
But, so, you know, the levels weren't as full as they would be today and all that. But they looked at the game, they went, we are basing it on Iron Man. Iron Man has one real big thing that makes him...
2008.
So, okay. It's a pretty old game now.
Yeah.
But Iron Man has a defining factor. Well, it's not even a defining factor. Well, it is. His suit is his defining factor. What is his suit? It's a weapons and flying platform.
Yes.
Pretty much all it is.
Yeah.
So they built the levels into mind for you to be flying around. And as I said, it's an old game, 2008. So looking at the pictures, Chris can absolutely see. I might even put some of the screenshots from the back off, see if I can find them online and put them up in the right now. But it's not a realistic looking game. Like there's flat open areas and like the tanks, you can see that. But they went, we want you to be able to do what Iron Man does. Iron Man flies around unrestricted, so unrestricted fly.
Yes.
And
well, technically there is one restriction, but I'm assuming they may not have focused too much on that.
Explain.
Well, the restriction is it's as long as the...
Okay, so there's actually...
as long as it had power.
I played a lot of this game, even though this is sealed, because this was a copy that was given to me by someone.
Yes.
So I have another copy that I actually have played.
Yes.
There was a mechanic in the game, if I'm not mistaken, to switch power levels.
Okay.
So, like, you could upgrade up the power that was being
could
diverted
fly
to your
and use it for
weapons.
longer.
Well, no, it made you faster.
Okay.
So if you put all of your power to, or a majority of your power to your thrusters and shit, you'd fly faster.
Makes sense.
And if you put it to your weapons, you'd be slower, but your weapons would do more damage. Anyway, I'm going to go put this back where I found it. But my point was, they looked at what they wanted to do, and okay, it's a movie tie-in game. It's fun. Like it's a good bit of stupid fun. If you want to play around as Iron Man, flying around shooting things, obviously they gave him lots of different armors and stuff.
Of course.
So, but it was fun. And the thing was, one of the things was, it did give you that unrestricted flying. And can I remember if the flying controls are any good? Not really. But I honestly, it's been, it came out in 2008, and honestly, probably the last time I played it was 2010. What are you doing?
I froze for a second.
Right. But as I said, like, in terms of a game that's like flying centric, this one did pretty well. Like, you fly around in this and you feel like you're flying around. Like, sure, the grass is a mottled green colour, and and buildings are squares.
That's what you expect from that time, though.
From that period.
From that period, there wasn't much better you could do.
No. But, and Anthem went steps above that, but then fucked up by, I feel, going too far. They built a small, very detailed world where they should have gone big and not as detailed, so that there was more area to explore. But then again, in the same breath, you could say, like, if you make a big empty map, no one's going to like it either. And it's like, yeah, but at least that would give the one mechanic that could have kept people playing around a chance to actually work.
Yeah, that's true.
So just as I said, like, that thing with Anthem, and like as I said, I never gave it too much. Unlike you and Sammy, I was never really.
Yeah,
I wasn't into it as much.
Even then, I think I played it with Sam once, and after that, we sort of like both dropped it because again, like you finished the game.
I didn't see much. Like, I didn't see much of the classes actually being relevant. Like, oh, you can get this suit or this suit or this suit, and this one's small and this one's medium and this one's large, and I was like,
I mean, does
that do anything?
It did. It did actually. Like, you had the large one, and you slowed down, and you had more armor, but that was about it, really. Smaller one, you relied on other abilities. So I think you could get like a shield type thing.
No,
a force field, probably the better way to say it. But it's like, as I said, it's a game you finished in 2 days, and when I say finished in 2 days, also worked a full-time job at the time. So it was full-time job, come back, play for a bit.
You still do work a full-time job?
Technically, no, I'm down to part-time.
Oh. Is that because you can't breathe?
It's because I can't breathe, yes.
Well, there you go.
Yeah. But it was that thing of, like, you played for a bit, and it's like, hey, you keep doing the grind. It's like, there's really not much extra I can do. Like, I'm not really gaining anything. I'm doing literally the exact same thing constantly. It's not even like hey, we've got like 40 missions for you to choose from. It's like, no, we've got like 5 missions. Repeat the 5 missions until we release the raid-esque type thing, like in Destiny, how they had the raid. You had to wait for that to come out. So it was like, okay.
Did you not have to do the same thing in Destiny, though?
Yeah, you did. That's why I said raid-esque type thing. You had to wait.
Yeah, okay. Right.
it's...
I just don't want to give Destiny any freebies here because I hate that game.
No, that's fine. It's like
Bungie did one great game, like one absolutely perfect game series, Halo.
It was aware of that,
and then they fucked it up by going and making Destiny.
Yeah, that was a problem.
And anyone who says that Destiny is better than Halo, I will personally come to you and beat you up, Jordan. I'll kill you.
But yeah, that was the main issue with it. It's like you waited, and then the raid was, again, they didn't call it a raid. It was just like almost like an expert mission type thing. You had to have a good team to be able to do it without raging. But it's like just that you'd get into it. It'd take no time at all if everyone was good enough.
Yes.
And that was it. You were done. Whereas like Destiny's thing was like, hey, we have no hints of what we've got to do. So a lot of people sort of waited for the first people to actually finish it, which took stupid amounts of time, and then they would post it online and be like, hey, this is what you've got to do. Which was another problem.
I do hate that. I hate, and this comes back to Destiny, I hate it when like there is, not when there's one way to do something. I never did any raids. That's not what I hate about Destiny's system like that.
Yeah.
But when I was playing with Slade and Jordan, and they were telling me, no, you've got to have this setup and this because it's the best for this game mode. And I was like, I don't like that setup. No, but you've got to have it. And I was like, the second someone tells me that, I'm like, fuck you. Like, seriously, take yourself and fuck yourself.
Yes.
With yourself.
Yeah.
Because I play games to have fun.
Yeah.
And being told that I have to play a style that I don't particularly like because it's the best in a game that's supposed to let you play however the fuck you feel like,
yeah,
that pisses me off.
I made them deal with it.
That rubs me the wrong way. Because there should never be a situation in a game that's like, man, we've got all these options, you play how you feel. There should never be a point where they go, oh, man, we've got all these options, you play how you feel, but 90% of those are wrong. You feel wrong. You may like that mode, but it ain't shit. It's the wrong one. You've picked.
And that was the thing whenever going into a raid, because there'd be raids where I'd go into it, and I'm the hunter, and they're like, hey, can you start running this? It's like, I'm not set up for that. It's like, wait, what? It's like, yeah, no, I'm not set up for that in the slightest. I've never played that role. Oh, well, I guess we'll just try to do it without this then? Or they'd be like, hey, do you have this... do you
Damn right you will.
It's like, do you have this specific element that allows the hunter to have this particular... I don't want to call it ability, but like a extra sort of boost kind of thing. And it's like, no, I don't. I do not have that.
You need to grind for that. Go fuck yourself.
Because it was in an exotic piece of armor.
Go fuck yourself.
Yeah.
I'll kill you. And
it was the funny thing, it's like go to a raid, it's like, get the whole exotic suit. It's like, no, I don't want the whole suit, because then I have to choose. But we've gone over that anyway.
Look, the exotic thing will remain stupid until it's fixed.
Yes, until it's fixed. But that was the biggest issue with Anthem, is the raids, or the raid-esque type things. They were small.
I'm gonna go
quick.
I'm gonna break the mold here, Chris, and I'm gonna talk about my personal life for a second.
Okay, yes.
I was just Tindering then,
as
I often do, because I like matching with people and then never talking to them.
Oh, I used to do the same thing.
Yeah,
so I don't have it installed because it's
very fun. Can I just say how disappointing Rockhampton is when it's like I look at things where girls are like, if you've got a mo and a mullet, it's a yes, and I'm like, do you really think yourself so low that is what you want? Because I'm like, I look at a guy with a mo and a mullet, and I go, that guy is probably not great. Yeah,
in a lot of cases, yeah.
He's probably very, very rural.
Yeah.
And probably thinks a good time is
going for the ride
or caravanning. Oh,
and caravanning.
Like, if that is your idea of your perfect man, God help you.
Yeah.
God help you, because no one else can. Goddamn caravanists. I hate them. I hate them. I remember driving one day and I saw...
It's always while driving. It's always the driving that makes you hate them.
I saw a caravanist with their ham radio thing on the back and their names. I'm like, give us a thing. And I'm like, if I had a ham radio, I would be doing nothing but insulting you.
Yeah.
And your life choices. Caravanist. And I'm sitting there and I'm like, why would you advertise that? You're a caravanist. Why would you give the people behind you that you are holding up as they try to get from one place to another? Why would you give them the direct access to tell you that you are a rubbish person and that you should rethink your life choices and that maybe, hey, pull over and kill yourself because you probably can't see around the giant box you're dragging around, but there is now 300 meters of traffic bumper to bumper behind you because you refuse to drive at the speed limit.
Yes, yeah, I agree. That is what pisses me off about them too.
And it's just like, if that is the life you choose for yourself, God help you. Do not inflict that onto your children because then they will think that is normal, and that's not normal.
No.
And thirdly,
yes,
don't give the people that you're pissing off a way to be in contact with you.
Oh yeah,
because you will not receive.
It's not right.
It's going.
It's very.
Oh, it's nice. No, what you're going to get is you motherfucker. But yes,
pull over before we all get pissed off.
We will kill you.
I'm already starting to get pissed off. Pull the fuck over.
God, I just hate them so much.
So once we get to that overtaking lane, if you don't fucking slow down...
Can I say they don't?
They don't.
That is the one spot where they go
they actually
over
do
the speed limit. Over the speed limit because they want you to stay behind them. But it's like...
And the thing is, if I then pass you, I get the speeding ticket because, oh no, you're not supposed to exceed the speed limit. It's like... But you were behind that prick too.
Oh, let me tell you, because again, I fucking hate them. You come in and then they go, oh, pull over, speed up, and you're like, if you want to travel at 80 kilometers an hour in a 110 zone, that is your prerogative. But when given the opportunity to let the people who want to travel at the speed limit pass, let them pass, because it will not affect you, because all of them will be gone by the time you pull back out. They will be gone past you and on their way.
It's like they just don't want the shame of people passing them. And it's like, no, if you don't want the shame of people passing you, do the fucking speed limit.
Can I say...
Or do what the rest of Australia does. Do slightly over the speed limit.
To all of you caravanists out there who go, but it's our holiday. Save yourself some money. Don't buy a caravan. Don't buy a car that can pull a caravan. Buy a normal car. And then stay in a hotel like a normal person. Seriously.
Yeah, I can agree.
God damn it. Oh, we use it once a year.
I don't fucking care.
Keep it off the road. And as I said, don't take your kids with you in a caravan because then they'll get it in their little influential kid brains that it's normal to carry a box around with you. As a wise man on a motoring show once said, just because you like to go out camping doesn't mean that you should buy a car and a box that makes that possible because you go camping once or twice a year. I like skiing. That doesn't mean that all the boots I wear are ski boots because that doesn't work. I need normal shoes for my normal everyday life.
Very true.
And I don't get to go skiing every day. Therefore, having all of my boots be ski boots makes no goddamn sense. Yet you people go out and you buy big cars so that you can drag around your big boxes and then you travel at 80 kilometers an hour. And infuriate everyone.
Arguably, in that particular situation, if you're going to turn around to me and tell me, oh no, we can't do the speed limit because you're pulling something, then your car's not built to pull it.
Or, better yet, we do under the speed limit because it's better for our fuel efficiency. You should have thought about that before deciding to drag along a giant box.
Yes, that is the other thing.
If you want to drag around a giant box, do the speed limit. And if you don't want to do the speed limit because it's going to cost you more money, maybe don't be a caravan.
Maybe rethink it. Yes.
Maybe go in the corner and think about your life. But you are a scourge on our roads, and we are coming for you.
Oh yes.
Goddamn caravans.
Fucking hell.
I hate them so much. I also hate the fucking stupid giant wing mirrors that they have attached to their normal mirrors. Oh, I need these giant things so I can see around my caravan.
And your car's
Go
not
fuck
built to
yourself.
fucking pull it.
Go fuck yourself.
It's another thing that your car's not built for. To pull something because you need to add something.
To be fair,
Only thing that
you know how Top Gear does those things where they go out and they then modify their cars so they can stay in it?
Yeah.
I would do that. Like, I would go and, like, take a normal car to Africa and then go, like, I don't want to stay in a hotel, so let's modify this thing.
Yeah.
Or, like, when they were in Burma and they did it with trucks. But the thing was, they were in vehicles that could travel at the speed limit whilst carrying that load.
Yes.
So, that, and they also all have lead feet, so except James.
Oh, yeah, no, James.
Just slowly.
Yes.
But yeah, no, like, that's, I would go like, okay, that seems fun. But carrying around a caravan, I don't see it. I hate it. I hate them. I hate the people that think that's a good idea. I hate the people that force their kids to go on these holidays and then, like, you see them as you drive past them in your normal car, going to your normal hotel. You see their sad little faces in the back of the car going, why aren't we normal like that person? Why are we carrying around our home on our back? What are we, a turtle? Are we a turtle?
And there's also more work to do with, like, you know, the toilet and every... Oh, fuck, there's so much more to do. And it's like you're going on a holiday.
You know what's nice
Why
about
do you want to do
You know what's
more
nice
work?
about a hotel? Internal plumbing.
Internal plumbing. Someone comes Electricity. Someone comes and cleans the room for you.
Makes your bed.
Exactly. They do all that. But you're in a caravan. It's like, well, it doesn't have electricity. Well, you can have a generator. But that still costs more.
What does one do when they're caravanning? Like, when I go on holiday, I go, oh, the holiday we're planning. We're going to the snow. We're going to rent an apartment in the snow.
Yes.
We are going to drive to that apartment, and then we are going to stay in the apartment.
Yes.
Right? That seems logical to me.
Yeah,
and then,
100%.
what we're going to do is, because that apartment's where we want to be, we're going to then go skiing. But with caravans and caravanists, they either take their caravan to a caravan park, but they then have to unhook their car so they can drive around and then go back there at the end of the day, so you might as well have stayed in a hotel.
Yes.
Or take their caravan out into the bush, set it up and go, nothing's around us. There is nothing to do.
So we're a caravan, so we could live almost our normal life.
Can we watch TV? No, because we don't have electricity.
Yeah.
Can we have a bath? No, because we don't have running water. But you can go play in the dirt over there. I mean, I don't understand it.
Yeah, there's a few, I agree. There's a few
I
issues.
don't understand
behind
it. Like, okay. I have a friend
Like,
who
I don't
enjoys
mind-
camping, and he used to take his girlfriend out camping. He was like, no, I enjoy going camping with my girlfriend. And I was like, why? Camping's boring. And he was like, ha ha ha. But the sun goes down early, and once the sun goes out, there's nothing but the fire and the light. And he goes, so me and my girlfriend, and I was like, oh yeah, say no more, say no more. Okay? That knows.
Yeah.
But
And look, I myself do like a little bit of camping.
Okay.
Would I go once a year? Probably
trying
not.
to strangle it.
100%. I don't mind it because I'm generally going to go somewhere where I can, go hiking.
Once you've gone to the snow, you will never go camping again because you'll be like, oh, we could go camping, and you're like, oh, I could go on a snow trip.
True, but I do also like it. See, I myself, I do enjoy hiking, doing all that sort of stuff, and it's like, if you go camping, it's like,
Okay,
you can go hiking, do all
Let me
that,
say,
but there is stuff to do.
I do enjoy hiking.
Yes.
I can do that
Without
without
camping.
living
Without.
in a tent
It's true.
and shitting in a bucket.
Again, true.
That's the difference between us and the animals.
Yes. I look, I
I
agree.
don't ever have to sleep near my shit.
It's true.
And that's pretty good.
Yeah. Yeah, look, as I said, like...
In fact, I take that back. That's very good. I like not being anywhere near my defecations.
Fair.
It's quite nice.
It is. Like, I've done camping before because, I used to be in Scouts for a while. Yeah, look, that's... But it's like...
You're the worst.
When it came to going to Scouts, there was always a lot of shit to do, even at night. There was shit planned. So it was like, it wasn't bad. I didn't have to do anything for myself. So I've never gone camping where I have to do shit for myself.
Okay. I think the last time I went tenting
Yes.
was for schoolies.
Okay, yep.
So that was just a lot of drinking, burning shit,
It's 100% what it would be for
Sleeping.
me now, to be honest.
and just hanging out with my mates. mind you, much like everything I did,
Yes.
I had my way out of there, like, if I got bored super quick.
I mean,
The time before that was on a school camp, and
Okay.
it was rec, where you had to spend one night in the tent,
Yes.
and you had to set it up to prove that you did actually know how
That
to
was
tent.
also the last time I did it, yes.
And that was fine, because again, things were set up. Like, we didn't even leave to go camping until the sun was just about setting.
Correct, yes.
And so then you'd have, you know... I don't think we set up the tents. I think the day before they'd gone and set up the other, because the class was split into two groups. So group 1 had gone and set up the tents,
Yes.
and then group 2 just had to go and live in the tents.
So that was different.
And cook
for us.
ourselves some rice.
I'm assuming we went to the same place.
North Keppel.
Yes. So it was very different for us. It was very different for us because there was actually more girls than guys.
Right.
So the guys had to hike up to the top of the mountain,
Yep.
or hill, fuck, whatever you want to call it. We set up our tents.
Yep.
You know, you cooked dinner, you sorted everything out. You
Rice.
took the tents down and... No, we didn't have rice. We had mac and cheese.
Bastards.
Yeah. So we get up to the top, we set up the tents, we sleep for the night, we wake up in the morning, pull the tents down.
We had to pull the tents down.
Because here's the thing. We didn't go to the same place the girls went. Because they wouldn't make them walk up the hill. So they walked around to the beach and set up near the beach.
I
So
think
they
we
did
were on
still
top
have-
of the hill, but I also don't think we were split.
Ours
Like-
was split. Because it was...
Well, I mean, like, we
split.
were split, but, like, it was, like, teachers' tent, girls' tents, boys' tents.
No, ours was literally...
And it was, like, 2 teachers' tents. So I was like, to get between the two, you had to... Plus, everyone had to share a tent.
Yes.
So it was like, ain't no one going to mess around because the person you were sharing a tent with was in the tiny tent with you.
So our thing
So I
was...
was like, ha ha ha, I'm going to see my girlfriend over. And it's like,
we had
you
4
fucking
person
better
tents.
not. We had 2 people tents.
We had 4 people.
2 men. 2 men tents. Because it was me and Skinner was bigger than me, and we were both lying there. I'm like, this is relatively comfortable. And he was like, until I get in. I'm like, until you get in. And then it's going to become cramped, and you are much longer than me.
Yes. Our only advantage is because Nick couldn't sleep, he didn't spend the entire night in the tent.
Oh, nice.
So it was great. So there was a little bit of extra space. So that was the advantage there. But we had to split into groups of 4.
Right.
And then there was then split into 2 groups from there.
No, man.
So-
2. Rice for everyone.
But no, so the whole first night was just guys. The second night there was actually, there were more guys. 4 more guys.
Weird.
So they split them into even groups. So 4 of the guys went with the girls the next night.
Weird.
They had to sleep in their own tent though.
Well, obviously.
And I believe it was still split up.
No tent for you, men. No, but anyway, my point was that was the last time I went camping. Other than, like, and the other nights of that, you were in the cabins and shit.
Yes.
And there was shit planned, and I accidentally stood on a bird, and there was a whole
that poor bird.
Dude, let me tell you, I'm running around in the dark, and they're like, don't run in the dark, you might step on something. I'm running in the dark, and then I just hear a wah, and I'm like... I get back, and everyone's like, because we were playing Spotlight, Searchlight, whatever you call it. Spotlight, Searchlight, whatever. We were playing that, and, like, I'd, like, gone off, because I'm like, you know me, I'm quite on my feet, considering how large I am.
Yeah.
And I can move pretty fast. So I'd, like... Our team was like moving this way. I'd gone off around this way, and I got back and like we've won, and everyone's like, "Oh yeah, nice work, Darcy," because I got there, and everyone's like, "What's wrong?" And I'm like, "I'm pretty sure I stood on a bird." And they're like, "How would you know you stood on a bird?" I'm like, "Because I'm pretty sure it was like making chirping noises at me when I stood on it." And they're like, "Oh," I'm like, "Just don't tell anyone.
Shut up.
Don't tell anyone on this nature reserve that I stood on nature."
Yeah. That's pretty much it.
Especially because I was running in the dark without any lights.
It's exactly what they told us not to
The thing
do.
they said not to do, I had done it, and I'm pretty sure I stepped on one of their precious birds.
Yes.
I'm pretty sure it was unhappy with me.
It was 100%
To be fair, I'm also fairly sure it was alive, just pissed.
Oh god.
Yeah, I didn't go back that way.
No, we were saying there was...
Because it was one of those stupid birds with the long legs.
We scared the shit out of one of our mates because we were like, that possum is after you now.
Yeah, absolutely, and it would.
'Cause
Because
100%.
possums are monsters.
Because it was like staying near the house, the cabin, and we moved cabins because like I don't remember why we moved cabins. We started in one, moved to another.
That bomb will kill you.
So we did that, and then because there was a possum over at the first one as well, and we got to the second one, and we were like, hey, possum's following you. It's like, no, it's not. It's like, yeah, no, it's gonna kill you in your sleep.
Actually, I think that was the best part about that camp. Do you know how there was like at the base camp where the cabins are and stuff, there was like the rec room where it was like everyone had to take turns doing shifts in there, and like so I was like cleaning up after and stuff. My group never had to do that because the time that like the four of us that would have had to do it, the time that we would have had our time would have come up was breakfast the night we were camping.
That was bullshit.
It was
because our group got into shit for it because we went up, did the camping, right, and then we'd get back after Christmas.
After Christmas.
After Christmas.
Oh, let me check.
This is after Christmas. Oh yes, that's right. So we
keep telling your story.
We'd get back after breakfast, so we pretty much like.
So you guys hadn't actually had any of the breakfast?
We hadn't had any of the breakfast, but it was our job to clean up after.
That's a pretty dick move, actually.
And I'm like, what the fuck is this? And we got into shit because it's like, oh no. So we got into shit because they're like, we had to call you over. It's like we told you to memorize the list. And it's like we'd seen the list once, and it was windy enough that list was gone within half an hour. Mm-hmm. So you expected us to memorize exactly when we had to do shit? No, we couldn't. But it was it. You get back, it's like, yeah, you know how you just got back and just put your stuff away? Yeah, no, go clean. It's like, what the fuck, guys?
Yeah, that's a pretty dick move.
It was bullshit, but again.
Yeah, well, but...
Also, Nick is heavier than he looks.
Yeah, he's a motherfucker.
Yeah, he's the smallest in our group, and it's like, yeah, trust me, it's going to be difficult to lift me in this. It's like, yeah, we're still lifting you first, and it was like, holy shit, the fuck are you made of?
Stone, actually.
100%.
So we should end this.
Yes.
That is all today. Unless you're a caravanist, we should go to health.
You heard him.
I've been Darcy. He's been Chris. Thanks for joining us on the Unnamed podcast, and we'll catch you next time.
Bye.
See ya.